Hi everyone, welcome to Lunch Hour Lessons with Allison. I'm Allison Mädl and today is April 10th, 2019. Each week I come to you live on Wednesdays at 12:30 to bring you a topic related to nutrition and health that I think is interesting and give you a lesson to take with you into your daily life. If you like what you hear, feel free to comment or like this video. And as always, I post a transcript of the lesson on my blog at AllisonMädl.com. This week's topic is journaling for awareness. So in our society, we're sometimes given the impression that to feel pain or discomfort is to be weak. We should just push through without complaint, for example, or that it's not really important to really pay attention too much to the small things, like that would be a waste of time, really, to bother with constantly needing to clear our throat, for example, or stomach aches or dizziness upon standing, or maybe having a little bit of sinus congestion. It can be like, I'm always the one who gets stomach aches. That's just how I am. We think of it sort of like the way things are, probably an annoyance, and don't really give it much thought beyond that. And the key here is that the body does give us signals that something can be improved if we learn how to read these signals. So before I even go any further, I want to make it clear that there's a difference between being observant and being a hypochondriac. Noticing how you feel doesn't mean that you're looking for an illness or something to be bad. It's just that you're observing what's going on without judgment, and you think things like, does my neck feel better if I sit like this? Or does it feel better if I sit like this? And you're just kind of not judging, observing how the body is feeling based on different outputs and inputs from your environment. So for example, after you eat a meal or snack, do you feel bloated? Or do you feel satisfied and light? Do you feel happy after you eat something? Or do you feel clear-headed or irritable? And it can be more than just food, right? Like I mentioned before, how we sit, our posture. We can be cluing in and observing the ways that we feel as we move throughout our day. A little rule of thumb is that what gets monitored gets managed. So what gets monitored gets managed. No information is good or bad, it's just information. And the important part here is to notice cause and effect relationships. So if I do this, what happens? If I eat this, what happens? And the best way to really do this and stay on top of things in terms of finding patterns is to keep a food and mood journal. And this would be most effective for a person who feels generally unwell for some reason. It can be physically, it can be emotionally, and can't really figure out what is causing it, or maybe didn't even realize that there would be a cause. That's just the way I am. But to clue in the fact that something just doesn't seem normal. And so I would suggest to start with a 6-day food and mood journal experience. And that would be to write down everything that you would eat and drink, and then how you feel after those foods and beverages in terms of digestion, in terms of elimination, in terms of your emotional well-being. I mean, do you feel depressed after eating something in the afternoon? Do you feel sleepy? Those kinds of things you can kind of jot down. So I would really suggest to start with a 6-day journal, and then the next month I would suggest trying a 3-day journal, and then you can make a habit of just journaling 1 day a month for the time being. And I think you can do more. Some people really find that daily journaling, especially if they're trying to target in on one particular like food reaction or situation, really can be helpful. Another thing that you can layer on top of your food journal is the Coca Pulse test, which I talked about in lesson 14, when I mentioned how you would put a food in your mouth and then you take the pulse and then see if it rises when the food is in your mouth. That's called pulse testing, and it can be really valuable to put along with your food and mood journal, so you can test certain foods throughout the day. And I've noticed that tracking food and movement can actually lead to positive change without really trying to make a change. I mean, it's not like you're setting out to change any particular thing, but for example, if you notice that you track your water intake and then over a few days, it's kind of like, oh, I'm not, feeling as energetic as I used to be, and then noticing that the water level is pretty low in your diet, you can maybe think of increasing the water the next day and seeing how you feel. And then if you do feel better, it can kind of give motivation to keep that habit up. So it's not as, you don't have to force yourself, let's just say. It's almost like the data gives you the motivation that you want to make these decisions. So, and as you look back over time, you can see how different foods, different beverages, different sleep patterns, supplements, and even movement, like going for a walk every day, can really affect our energy, our mood, and our digestion. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tell a friend this week's lunch hour lesson, which is becoming in tune with your body is the best way to improve your life slowly over time. That is, becoming in tune with your body is the best way to improve your life slowly over time. Go ahead and like this page if you want to see the weekend tip that comes out on Saturday mornings, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.